happy anniversary to me. Nothing says, I love you, like a text message that reads, can we reschedule dinner? Something came up with Derek. Sorry, babe. Emma. I stared at my phone screen in the parking lot of Romano's Italian restaurant, the same place where I'd proposed 3 years ago. The reservation confirmation email glowed mockingly on my dashboard. Table for two, 7:30 p.m., anniversary special. I'd even bought her that ridiculously expensive necklace she'd been eyeing at Tiffany's for months. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name's Ryan Carter, and I'm apparently the kind of husband who gets dumped on his anniversary for his wife's ex-boyfriend. I work IT support for a mid-sized insurance company. Not glamorous, but it pays the bills and keeps our Pinterest-perfect suburban home looking like something out of a magazine. Emma works in HR at a consulting firm downtown, makes twice what I do, and never lets me forget it. Derek Parks. Even his name sounds like a trust fund baby who peaked in college, which, coincidentally, is exactly what he is. Emma dated him before me, some on-and-off drama that lasted through most of her 20s before she settled for the stable guy. That would be me, apparently. I called my best friend Mike while sitting in my car, watching other couples walk into the restaurant hand in hand. "Dude, you're kidding me," Mike said, when I told him about the text. He's a mechanic who owns his own shop, built like a linebacker, and has exactly zero patience for relationship drama. She canceled your anniversary dinner for her ex? That's what the text says. Something came up with Derek on our anniversary. What a coincidence. Want me to swing by their place? See what's really going on? I almost said yes, but something stopped me. No, not yet. I want to handle this smart. Emma thinks I'm just the boring IT guy who'll roll over and take whatever she dishes out. Maybe it's time to show her she's wrong. What are you thinking? I'm thinking our anniversary isn't over yet. She'll get her gift tonight, just not the one she's expecting. I drove home to our house in Maple Heights, a subdivision where every lawn looks identical and everyone pretends their marriages are perfect. Mrs. Henderson was watering her garden next door, probably hoping for some gossip. She waved, and I waved back with a smile that felt like broken glass. Inside, the house felt different. Maybe it was knowing that Emma was somewhere else, probably laughing with Derek about how easy it was to blow off her husband. I walked through our living room with its carefully arranged throw pillows and family photos that suddenly looked like lies. Emma's iPad was charging on the kitchen counter. She's always been careless with passwords, uses the same one for everything. Our wedding date, which felt like irony now. I unlocked it and started looking. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for. A folder buried in her photos, labeled work stuff, but filled with screenshots of text conversations. My hands actually shook as I scrolled through months of messages between Emma and Derek. Not just friendly catch-up texts. These were detailed, explicit conversations about hotel rooms and lunch meetings that had nothing to do with food. Can't wait to see you tonight. Ryan thinks I'm working late again, LOL. Your husband is so clueless. Does he even know you're not happy? He's sweet but boring. You know what I need. The photos were worse. Emma in lingerie I'd never seen, poses I'd never been treated to, all time-stamped during business hours when I thought she was in meetings. I found the restaurant reservation too, not Romano's, some upscale place downtown I'd never heard of. Table for two tonight, 8 p.m. Charged to our joint credit card, which meant I'd been paying for her dates with Derek without knowing it. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Don't wait up. Might be late. Love you. Love you. After spending the day texting her ex and planning to spend our anniversary in his bed, I forwarded the restaurant reservation to myself, then did something that felt both completely justified and slightly insane. I looked up Derek's address, easy enough when you know someone's full name and where they work. Found his wife Lisa on Facebook. Sent her a message with screenshots of the texts and a simple note. Thought you should know what your husband is doing tonight. Table 12 at Meridian Restaurant, 8 p.m. You might want a front row seat. Then I got dressed. Not in the nice suit I'd planned for our romantic dinner, but in jeans and the black polo shirt that Emma always said made me look too serious. Tonight, serious felt exactly right. The necklace box sat on our dresser, mocking me. $3,000 for a woman who was probably already in Derek's apartment, getting ready for their date. I pocketed it anyway. Emma would get her anniversary gift tonight, just not how she expected. I arrived at Meridian Restaurant at 7:45. Upscale place, dim lighting, the kind of spot where people go when they want privacy for things they shouldn't be doing. I asked the hostess for a table with a view of table 12 and slipped her a 20 to make sure I got it. Emma walked in at exactly 8 p.m., wearing the red dress I'd bought her last Christmas. She looked beautiful and excited in a way I hadn't seen in months. Derek was already waiting, standing to kiss her cheek like they were starring in some romantic movie instead of destroying two marriages. I watched them order wine, watched Emma laugh at Derek's jokes, watched her lean across the table to touch his hand. They looked like a couple celebrating an anniversary, which, in a twisted way, I guess they were. At 8:30, Lisa Parks walked through the front door. Lisa Parks turned out to be a petite blonde with the kind of fury that makes grown men step aside. I watched her scan the restaurant until she spotted table 12, then march over like a woman with nothing left to lose. Well, she said loudly enough for half the restaurant to hear. If it isn't my husband and his favorite little home wrecker. Emma's face went white. Derek started to stand, probably planning some smooth explanation, but Lisa wasn't having it. Sit down, Derek. I'm not finished. She turned to Emma. You must be the famous Emma Carter. My husband talks about you constantly. Well, he did until I changed the locks this afternoon. The restaurant had gone completely quiet. Other diners were openly staring now, some holding up phones to record the drama. Emma looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. Lisa, this isn't what it looks like, Derek said, which might be the stupidest thing anyone has ever said while caught red-handed. Really? Because it looks like you're having a romantic dinner with another man's wife on her wedding anniversary. Did you tell her that part, Derek? That today is her anniversary? Emma found her voice. I can explain. Oh, I'd love to hear this, Lisa said, crossing her arms. Please explain how screwing my husband for the past 6 months is somehow innocent. That's when I decided to make my entrance. I walked over to their table carrying the small gift bag I'd prepared in the car. All three of them looked up as I approached, Emma's face cycling through surprise, fear, and something that might have been shame. Sorry I'm late, honey, I said to Emma, my voice perfectly calm. Traffic was murder. I see you started without me. Ryan, Emma stammered, what are you doing here? It's our anniversary. Where else would I be? I pulled out the chair next to Derek and sat down uninvited. Derek, good to see you again. Lisa, I don't think we've been properly introduced. I'm Ryan Carter, Emma's husband. The famous husband, Lisa said, studying my face. Derek's told me so much about you. Apparently, you're completely oblivious to what's been going on. Oblivious? I laughed. That's funny. Emma, didn't you tell them about my job? I work in IT. Do you know what IT people are really good at? Finding things that people try to hide. I placed the gift bag on the table in front of Emma. Happy anniversary, sweetheart. Go ahead, open it. Emma's hands shook as she reached into the bag. She pulled out her own phone, the one she thought was safely hidden in her purse. I took the liberty of unlocking it for you, I said. It's open to your favorite photo folder. You know, the one labeled work stuff that's full of pictures you definitely didn't take at work. Derek started to stand. Look, man, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Sit down. My voice carried enough edge that Derek actually obeyed. The only misunderstanding here is that my wife thought I was stupid enough not to notice that she's been using our joint credit card to pay for hotel rooms. Did you know that, Derek? That I've been funding your little affair? Emma was scrolling through her phone, probably seeing the messages I'd forwarded to myself, realizing how much I knew. Tears started running down her cheeks, smearing her carefully applied makeup. The best part, I continued, is that Emma told me she was working late tonight. Emergency meeting with a client. Very important. Couldn't possibly reschedule. I looked around the restaurant. Funny, this doesn't look like a conference room. Lisa was recording everything on her phone. Smart woman. You want to know what's really pathetic? I said, standing up. I actually bought you a gift, a real one. I pulled out the Tiffany's box and set it next to her phone. $3,000 for a necklace you'll never wear, because after tonight, you won't be my wife anymore. Emma finally found her voice. Ryan, please. We can talk about this at home. We can work this out. Work it out? I laughed, and it sounded bitter even to me. Emma, you've been cheating on me for months. You canceled our anniversary dinner to be with him. You've been lying to my face every single day. What exactly is there to work out? The entire restaurant was watching now. Phones were definitely recording. By tomorrow, this would probably be all over social media. You're making a scene, Emma whispered. I'm making a scene? You're having an affair with a married man on our anniversary, and I'm the one making a scene? I picked up the necklace box. You're right, though. This isn't the place for this conversation. I looked at Derek, who had been remarkably quiet. Just so we're clear, Derek, Emma won't be coming home with me tonight. She's all yours. Congratulations, you won the prize. Hope she's worth losing your marriage over. I started to walk away, then turned back. Oh, and Derek? You might want to check your credit cards. Lisa's been busy this afternoon. Lisa smiled for the first time since she'd arrived. Maxed them all out. Hope you like your new wardrobe, honey. It's the last shopping spree you'll get on my dime. I left them sitting there. Emma crying into her phone, Derek looking like he'd been hit by a truck, and Lisa documenting everything for what I assumed would be a very expensive divorce. In the parking lot, I called Mike. How'd it go? He asked. Better than expected. Emma's officially Derek's problem now, but I'm not done yet. What do you need? Remember that bucket of red paint in your shop? The one left over from when you painted your office? Yeah, why? I'll pick you up in 20 minutes. We're going to deliver Derek a housewarming gift. Derek lived in a converted warehouse downtown, the kind of trendy loft space that costs more than most people's houses, but has the charm of an airplane hangar. 3rd floor, corner unit, with a fire escape that ran right past his oversized windows. Mike and I sat in my car across the street, watching Derek's BMW in the parking garage below the building. It was 10:30 p.m., and the restaurant drama had probably wrapped up by now. You sure about this? Mike asked, hefting the paint bucket. This isn't exactly legal. Neither is adultery, but that didn't stop Derek. I pulled on work gloves. Besides, I'm not going to hurt anyone, just making a statement. What if someone sees us? Then they see 2 guys doing maintenance work on a fire escape. Nothing suspicious about that. The fire escape was old but sturdy. We climbed to the 3rd floor, where Derek's floor-to-ceiling windows gave us a perfect view into his apartment. The place was empty. Derek was probably still dealing with the restaurant fallout, or maybe driving Emma somewhere to talk things through. There, I pointed to a window that was cracked open about 6 inches. That's our target. Mike positioned the paint bucket on the fire escape platform while I worked the window open wider. It slid up easily. These old warehouse conversions weren't exactly Fort Knox. You want to do the honors? Mike asked. My marriage, my revenge. I picked up the bucket and carefully poured red paint through the window, aiming for Derek's white leather couch. The paint splashed across the expensive furniture, dripped onto his hardwood floors, and splattered his mounted flat-screen TV. We were halfway down the fire escape when Derek's BMW pulled into the parking garage. "Time to go," Mike said, but I had a better idea. "Wait here." I climbed back down to ground level and walked into the parking garage like I belonged there. Derek was getting out of his car, looking like a man whose life had just exploded. He was alone. Emma was probably crying in her own car somewhere, trying to figure out how to explain this to her friends. "Derek," I called out. He spun around, immediately defensive. "Ryan, look, about tonight." "About tonight? You mean the part where you've been screwing my wife for months? Or the part where you thought I was too stupid to figure it out?" Derek straightened up, trying to project confidence he clearly didn't feel. "Emma's not happy with you, man. She hasn't been for a long time. If you were paying attention to your wife instead of your computers, maybe she wouldn't need to find companionship elsewhere." "Companionship?" I stepped closer. "Is that what you call it when you send her pictures of your dick during her lunch breaks?" His face flushed. "How did you—" "I told you. I work in IT. I'm very good at finding things people try to hide." I was close enough now that Derek had to look up slightly to meet my eyes. For all his swagger, he was softer than me. Probably hadn't been in a real fight since high school. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stay away from my wife. Completely. No calls, no texts, no accidental meetings at coffee shops. You can't tell me who I can and can't see. Actually, I can. Because if you don't, I'm going to make tonight look like a friendly conversation." I smiled, and Derek took a step back. "You think losing your wife is bad? Wait until your boss finds out you've been using company time to coordinate affairs. Wait until your country club buddies see the videos from tonight. Wait until everyone in your social circle knows exactly what kind of man you really are." "Are you threatening me?" "I'm educating you. There's a difference." I pulled out my phone and showed him a screenshot of his text messages with Emma. "I have months of these. Every dirty message, every photo, every lie you told your wife about where you were going. How do you think your divorce lawyer will feel about this evidence?" Derek's face went pale. "What do you want?" "I want you to disappear from Emma's life. Permanently. I want you to block her number, delete her contact information, and pretend she never existed. Because if I find out you've contacted her again, I'm going to make sure everyone you know gets a very detailed slideshow of your extracurricular activities." I started to walk away, then turned back. "Oh, and Derek? You might want to check your apartment. I left you a little housewarming gift. Consider it a token of my appreciation for everything you've done for my marriage." I was in my car with Mike pulling out of the parking garage when Derek's scream echoed down from the third floor. "Think he found the paint?" Mike asked. "Probably. Along with the note I left on his bathroom mirror." "What note?" "Homewrecker. Population, you. Written in Emma's lipstick, found it in her purse while I was getting her phone." Mike laughed. "Remind me never to piss you off." "The night's not over yet. Emma's probably at home by now, trying to figure out how to spin this whole thing. Time for phase 2. We drove back to Maple Heights in comfortable silence. My house was dark, except for the porch light, but Emma's car was in the driveway. She was probably inside, practicing her apology speech and figuring out how to make this all my fault somehow. I parked on the street instead of pulling into the garage. "What's the plan?" Mike asked. "Simple. Emma wants to play games, let's play games." I pulled out my phone and opened Facebook. "Time to let our friends know what really happened tonight." I typed carefully, crafting a post that was honest without being vindictive. "Well, this has been an interesting anniversary. Found out tonight that Emma has been having an affair for the past 6 months. For those who saw the videos from Meridian Restaurant, yes, that was us. For those who didn't, I'm sure someone will fill you in. I'll be taking some time to figure out next steps, but wanted you all to hear it from me first. Thanks to everyone who has supported our marriage over the years. Apparently Emma found that support elsewhere. I tagged Emma and hit post. Brutal, Mike said, reading over my shoulder. Truthful, I corrected. There's a difference. My phone started buzzing immediately. Comments, likes, private messages from friends who couldn't believe what they were reading. Emma's friends, my friends, mutual friends, everyone we'd been pretending to for months while she was sneaking around behind my back. The house lights came on. Emma had seen the post. My phone rang. Emma's number. Ryan, take down that post right now, she said without preamble. This is private business. Private? You made it public when you decided to have your affair at restaurants around town, when you used our joint credit card to pay for hotel rooms, when you brought Derek to our friends' parties and flirted with him right in front of me. Emma, I have receipts, literal receipts. Hotel charges, restaurant bills, Uber rides to his apartment. You want to play the victim here? Fine. But I'm not going to pretend this is my fault. Come inside. We need to talk. We needed to talk 6 months ago before you started screwing Derek. We needed to talk this morning, before you canceled our anniversary dinner. We needed to talk tonight before you humiliated both of us in public. I looked at the house we'd shared for 3 years. Now, we need lawyers. I hung up and turned to Mike. Feel like crashing at your place tonight? I don't think I'm ready to deal with whatever Emma has planned. Course, man. But what about tomorrow? You can't avoid her forever. Tomorrow, Emma gets to find out what happens when you underestimate the boring IT guy. I woke up on Mike's couch to 17 missed calls from Emma and 43 Facebook notifications. The post had been shared dozens of times, and the comments section looked like a battlefield. Emma's friends defending her, my friends expressing shock and support, and mutual friends trying to stay neutral while clearly picking sides. The best comment came from Claire Morrison, Emma's supposed best friend. I always thought something was off about how much Emma talked about Derek. So sorry you're going through this, Ryan. Even Emma's inner circle was abandoning ship. I showered at Mike's and borrowed a clean shirt, then drove to work like it was any other Tuesday. Except, it wasn't any other Tuesday, because my phone kept buzzing with messages from people who'd seen the Facebook post or the restaurant videos that were apparently making the rounds. My boss, Janet, called me into her office around 10 a.m. Ryan, I saw what happened last night. If you need some time off to deal with personal matters, that's completely understandable. Thanks, but I'd rather stay busy. Work is about the only normal thing in my life right now. Are you sure? Because if you need to leave early for lawyer appointments or anything like that, I'll let you know. Right now, I just want to focus on something that makes sense. What made sense was using my lunch break to change the locks on the house. Emma had texted that she was staying at her sister's place until we could talk things through, which gave me the perfect opportunity. I called a locksmith and had new lock bolts installed on both the front and back doors. While I was at it, I called the credit card companies and removed Emma's access to our joint accounts. Not illegal. My name was on everything, and I had every right to protect our assets while we figured out the divorce proceedings. Emma figured out the lock situation around 3 p.m. when I got a furious phone call. You changed the locks? Are you kidding me? I live there. You lived there when you were my wife. Now you're Derek's problem, remember? You made that choice last night. Ryan, be reasonable. I need to get my things. Make a list. I'll pack them up and leave them on the porch. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. Check the deed. The house is in my name only because your credit was shot when we got married. Remember? You asked me to handle the mortgage application solo. Silence on the other end of the line. I'll be home at 6, I continued. If you want to collect your things, you can do it then. Bring Derek if you want. I'd love to see how he's enjoying his new living situation. I hung up and went back to work, feeling lighter than I had in months. At 5:30, I stopped by Mike's shop to pick up some backup. Not because I was worried about Emma, but because I wanted witnesses for whatever drama she was planning to bring. How's the paint cleanup going at Derek's place? I asked. Mike grinned. Drove by this morning. Saw a cleaning crew van outside. Looks like your housewarming gift made quite an impression. Good. Emma's coming by at 6 to get her stuff. Want to watch the show? Wouldn't miss it. We got to my house just as Emma was pulling up with her sister Kelly. No Derek in sight, which was probably smart on his part. Emma looked like she'd been crying for 12 hours straight. Her hair was a mess. She was wearing yesterday's clothes, and she had the hollow-eyed look of someone whose life had just imploded. "Ryan," she said as I got out of my car, "please, can we just talk? Alone?" "We can talk, with witnesses. Mike's here to make sure everyone stays calm and rational." Kelly, who had never liked me anyway, stepped forward. "This is between you and Emma. Your friend doesn't need to be here." "My friend is here because last night your sister tried to make me look like an idiot in front of half the town. Now she gets to explain herself in front of witnesses." Emma pulled out a key and tried the front door. When it didn't work, she turned to me with fresh tears in her eyes. "You really changed the locks." "I really did. Emma, you've been cheating on me for 6 months. You canceled our anniversary dinner to be with another man. You've been lying to my face every single day. Did you think I was going to welcome you home with open arms?" "It's not what you think. Derek and I, it's complicated. Complicated." I looked at Mike, who rolled his eyes. "You know what's not complicated? Divorce? You want Derek? You can have him. But you can't have Derek and me and the house and the joint bank accounts and the comfortable life I've been providing while you screw around behind my back." "I made a mistake," Emma said, and for the first time, she sounded genuinely sorry. "I know I screwed up, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can work through this." "Emma, you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Every day for 6 months, you chose Derek over me. You chose lying over honesty. You chose to humiliate me over respecting our marriage." I pulled out my phone and showed her the Facebook post, which now had over 100 comments. "You made your choice public last night. Now you get to live with the consequences." Kelly stepped between us. "Emma doesn't have to listen to this. You're being cruel." "Cruel?" I laughed. "Your sister has been having an affair for half a year, and I'm cruel for calling her out on it?" "Kelly, your sister used our joint credit card to pay for hotel rooms with her boyfriend. She canceled our anniversary dinner to be with him. She's been sending him naked pictures during work hours. But I'm the bad guy here?" Emma's face crumpled. "How did you find all that out?" "Because I'm not stupid, Emma. You thought I was, but I'm not. I know about the hotel in September. I know about the lunch meetings that weren't meetings. I know about the business trips that weren't business. I know about every lie you've told me for the past 6 months." I pulled out a box of Emma's things that I'd packed earlier. Clothes, jewelry, personal items. "Here's your stuff. There's more inside, but you'll have to wait while I pack it." "Ryan, please. I know I messed up, but Derek doesn't mean anything to me. It was just, I don't know. I was confused." "Confused about what? About whether you were married or not? About whether lying to your husband was wrong? About whether having an affair was a good idea?" I shook my head. "Emma, you weren't confused. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just thought I'd never find out." Mike cleared his throat. "Ryan, maybe we should let them get their stuff and go. This isn't really solving anything." He was right. Standing in my driveway arguing with Emma wasn't going to change what had happened or fix what was broken. "Fine," I said. "Emma, you have 30 minutes to pack whatever you need. Kelly can help. But I want you both gone by 7 o'clock. And I don't want you coming back here without calling first." "Where am I supposed to live?" Emma asked. "I don't know. Derek's place? Your sister's? A hotel? That's not my problem anymore." I looked at her standing there in yesterday's clothes, crying in my driveway, and felt something that might have been pity. "You made your choice, Emma. Now you get to figure out what comes next." I unlocked the front door and let them inside, then sat on the porch with Mike while they packed. "You doing okay?" Mike asked. "Better than I thought I would be. It's weird. I thought I'd be more upset about this. But mostly I just feel relieved." Like I don't have to pretend anymore. Pretend what? That I didn't notice her pulling away, that I believed her excuses, that I thought our marriage was actually working. I watched through the window as Emma packed clothes into a suitcase. I knew something was wrong, I just didn't want to admit it. So what's next? Lawyer tomorrow, divorce papers by the end of the week, and then I figure out what my life looks like without Emma in it. At exactly 7 p.m., Emma and Kelly came out with 3 suitcases and 2 boxes. I'll need to come back for the rest of my things, Emma said. Call first. And Emma, next time you want to have an affair, maybe don't use the joint credit card to pay for it. Makes the evidence really easy to find. They drove away without another word, leaving me standing in front of my house. My house now, I guess, wondering what the hell I was supposed to do next. 3 weeks later, I thought the worst was behind me. Emma had moved in with Derek, the divorce papers were filed, and I was settling into a routine that didn't involve wondering where my wife really was every night. Then Derek showed up at my office. I was debugging a server issue when Janet knocked on my cube wall. Ryan, there's someone here to see you, says it's personal. Derek stood in our lobby wearing an expensive suit and the kind of fake smile that rich guys use when they're about to screw you over. He looked like he'd recovered from the paint incident, probably had his whole apartment professionally cleaned and redecorated. Ryan, good to see you. Can we talk? Somewhere private? I led him to a small conference room, wondering what kind of game he was playing now. What do you want, Derek? I want to clear the air, man to man. He sat down like he owned the place. Look, I know the situation with Emma got messy, but that's behind us now. She's moved on, you're moving on. No reason we can't be civilized about this. Civilized. I closed the conference room door. You mean civilized like having an affair with my wife for 6 months? Or civilized like letting me pay for your hotel rooms? Emma's not happy about how things ended between you two. She feels bad about the way everything came out. Emma feels bad? That's interesting because she hasn't felt bad enough to apologize, or to stop using my Netflix password, or to return the credit card she's not supposed to have anymore. Derek's smile faltered. What credit cards? The ones she's been using to buy groceries and gas. The ones that are still linked to my bank account because apparently Emma forgot to mention she doesn't actually have any money of her own. I pulled out my phone and showed him the banking app. $200 at Target yesterday, $50 at a gas station this morning. Want to guess who's been paying for Emma's new life with you? I'm sure that's just a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding here is that you thought I'd roll over and let you two walk all over me. I leaned back in my chair. So what do you really want, Derek? Emma thinks you're being vindictive. The Facebook post, the locks, cutting off her access to money. She thinks you're trying to punish her. I am punishing her. She cheated on me. She lied to me. She humiliated me in public. What did you think was going to happen? That I'd throw you both a congratulations party? Derek's fake smile disappeared entirely. Look, Ryan, I'm trying to be reasonable here. But Emma is really struggling right now. She lost her job because of all the drama from that night at the restaurant. She can't afford her own place. She needs help. She lost her job? That was news to me. Her boss saw the videos, said it reflected poorly on the company's image. She was terminated last Friday. I felt a moment of something that might have been sympathy, then remembered the credit card charges. And you thought I'd care about this because you're not a bad guy, Ryan. I know you're angry, but Emma made a mistake. She doesn't deserve to have her whole life destroyed over it. Her whole life. I stood up. Derek, let me explain something to you. Emma didn't make a mistake. She made a choice. Every day for 6 months, she chose to lie to me. She chose to cheat on me. She chose to use my money to fund her affair with you. Those weren't mistakes. They were decisions. But I'm not finished. My voice carried enough edge that Derek actually shut up. You want to talk about destroying lives? Emma destroyed our marriage. She destroyed 3 years of building a life together. She destroyed my ability to trust anyone. But somehow, I'm the bad guy because I won't keep paying her bills? Derek shifted in his chair. She just needs some time to get back on her feet. Then you help her. You're the one who wanted her so badly. You're the one who convinced her to throw away her marriage. She's your problem now. I can't support both of us. My divorce is costing me everything. Lisa's taking half of everything I own, plus alimony. And there it was, the real reason for this visit. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. You seduced my wife, destroyed my marriage, lost your own marriage in the process, and now you want me to keep paying Emma's expenses because you can't afford to support the woman you stole? It's not like that. It's exactly like that. I opened the conference room door. Here's what's going to happen, Derek. You're going to leave my office, you're going to go home to Emma and explain that her ex-husband isn't a bank. And you're both going to figure out how to be adults and support yourselves. Ryan, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. Reasonable would be suing you both for alienation of affection. Reasonable would be making sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of people you are. Reasonable would be a lot worse than cutting off Emma's credit cards. Derek stood up, his face flushed with anger. You know what? Emma was right about you. You are boring. You're small and petty and boring. No wonder she needed to find excitement somewhere else. You're probably right, I said. I am boring. I'm the kind of boring guy who goes to work every day, pays his bills on time, and doesn't screw other people's wives. If that's not exciting enough for Emma, then she's welcome to enjoy the thrilling life of unemployment and living off her boyfriend's divorce settlement. Derek pushed past me toward the lobby. This isn't over. Yes, it is. And Derek, if you come to my workplace again, I'm calling security. If you contact me again, I'm filing a restraining order. If Emma keeps using those credit cards, I'm reporting them stolen. Are we clear? He left without answering, but the message was received. I went back to my cube and called the credit card companies to report Emma's cards as stolen. Then I called my lawyer to ask about filing harassment charges. Then I did something I probably should have done weeks ago. I called Emma. Ryan? She sounded surprised to hear from me. Emma, Derek just left my office. He seems to think I should keep paying your bills now that you're living with him. I didn't ask him to do that. But you didn't stop him either. Emma, you lost your job? A long pause. Yes. Because of the restaurant incident? Because someone sent my boss the videos and screenshots of my text messages. My boss said I was using company time for personal business, and it reflected poorly on their image. Someone sent them? You mean me? Didn't you? No, Emma, I didn't. But I'm not surprised someone did. You made a public spectacle of yourself. Actions have consequences. I know that. I'm living with the consequences every day. Good. Maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to have an affair. Ryan, please. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt you. But I can't change what happened. I can only try to move forward. Then move forward. With Derek, without my money. I don't have any money. I can't get another job because everyone in town knows what happened. I can't afford my own place. I don't know what to do. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Emma, you're a smart woman. You have a college degree and work experience. If you can't get a job here, look somewhere else. Move to another city. Start over. But don't expect me to fund your new life with the man you cheated on me with. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. You made your choice. Now live with it. I hung up and went back to work, feeling like a chapter of my life had finally closed. But I was wrong. The final chapter was still coming. 2 months later, I was finally starting to feel normal again. The divorce was proceeding smoothly. I'd started dating someone new, a teacher named Sarah who thought my story was horrible but didn't treat me like a victim. And the gossip mill had moved on to other scandals. Then Mike called me at work with news that changed everything. Dude, you need to get down to the police station now. What? Why? Emma filed a report. She's claiming you've been stalking her and threatening her. Says she has evidence that you've been harassing her and Derek. I sat down hard in my chair. That's insane. I haven't contacted either of them in weeks. I know that. You know that. But apparently Emma has text messages and emails that say otherwise. What text messages? I haven't sent her anything. That's what you need to figure out. They want to talk to you this afternoon. I left work early and drove to the police station, my mind racing. What kind of evidence could Emma possibly have? I'd been scrupulously careful to avoid any contact with her or Derek since the office visit. Detective Morrison, no relation to Claire, thankfully, was a middle-aged woman who looked like she'd seen every kind of domestic drama imaginable. Mr. Carter, thank you for coming in. We've received a complaint from your ex-wife alleging harassment and stalking. I'd like to get your side of the story. Detective, I haven't contacted Emma or Derek Parks in over 2 months. I haven't driven by their apartment, I haven't called them, I haven't sent any messages. I don't know what she's talking about. Mrs. Carter provided us with screenshots of threatening text messages allegedly sent from your phone number. She also claims you've been following her and taking pictures of her apartment. That's impossible. Can I see these screenshots? Detective Morrison showed me printouts of text conversations that made me freeze. Messages from my phone number to Emma's, threatening her, calling her names, promising to make her pay for what she'd done. Except, I'd never sent any of them. Detective, these messages are fake. I never sent these texts. Mr. Carter, they show your phone number as the sender. Then someone spoofed my number. It's not that hard to do if you know what you're doing. I studied the screenshots more carefully. Look at the timestamps. This one from last Tuesday at 2 p.m. I was in a meeting with my entire team. This one from Friday at 11 p.m. I was on a date with my girlfriend. I can provide witnesses for all of these times. Detective Morrison made notes. What about the photographs? Mrs. Carter says you've been taking pictures of her apartment building. What photographs? She showed me photos of Emma and Derek's building, clearly taken from across the street with a telephoto lens. The metadata showed they'd been taken over the past 3 weeks. I've never been to their apartment building. I don't even know where they live. I pulled out my phone. Detective, I can show you my location history. My phone tracks everywhere I go. I haven't been anywhere near downtown in weeks. We spent an hour going through my phone's GPS data, my work schedule, and my credit card records. Everything proved that I'd been nowhere near Emma and Derek during the times these alleged incidents occurred. Mr. Carter, someone is clearly trying to frame you for harassment. Do you have any idea who might want to do that? Just Emma and Derek. They came to my office 2 months ago asking me to keep paying Emma's bills. When I refused, Derek threatened me, said, "This isn't over." Did you report that threat? No, I thought it was just bluster. I guess I was wrong. Detective Morrison closed her file. Based on the evidence you've provided, I don't think you're responsible for these messages or photographs, but someone is. We'll need to investigate further. What happens now? Now we figure out who's really behind this harassment. And Mr. Carter, be very careful. Someone is going to a lot of trouble to make you look guilty. Watch your back. I left the police station angry and paranoid. Someone was trying to frame me for stalking my own ex-wife. The question was whether it was Emma, Derek, or both of them working together. I called Mike from the parking lot. How'd it go? Someone's been sending fake text messages from my phone number and taking pictures of Emma's apartment. The cops think I'm being framed. Who would do that? Take a wild guess. Mike, I need a favor. Can you do some surveillance for me? I want to know who's really watching Emma and Derek. You want me to watch the watchers? Exactly. Someone's playing games. Time to find out who. Mike agreed to stake out Emma and Derek's building that evening, while I established a solid alibi by having dinner with Sarah and her parents. If someone was trying to frame me, they weren't going to succeed. At 11 p.m., Mike called with interesting news. You're not going to believe this. I've been watching their building for 4 hours. Guess who just showed up with a camera? Who? Claire Morrison, Emma's supposed best friend, the one who posted that supportive comment on your Facebook. Claire. The friend who'd thrown Emma under the bus publicly, but apparently was helping her privately. Did you get photos? Better. I got video. Claire taking pictures of the building. Claire in her car across the street for 2 hours. Claire meeting with some guy I don't recognize who handed her a stack of papers. Send me everything. I'm calling Detective Morrison first thing in the morning. Ryan, what if this goes deeper than just Claire? What if Emma's been planning this for weeks? Then Emma's about to learn that framing someone for stalking is a felony, and I'm about to make sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of person she really is. I hung up and started planning Emma's final humiliation. She wanted to play games? Fine. But this time, I was going to win. Detective Morrison was very interested in Mike's video evidence, interested enough to bring Claire in for questioning, and interested enough to set up a sting operation to catch whoever was behind the fake harassment campaign. Mr. Carter, we'd like your help with this. We think if you contact Mrs. Carter directly, whoever's helping her might reveal themselves. What do you want me to do? Call her, tell her you know about the fake messages, and you want to meet to discuss the situation. We'll be monitoring both your phones and watching the meeting location. I called Emma that afternoon, with Detective Morrison listening in. Emma, we need to talk. I know about the fake text messages. I don't know what you're talking about. But her voice was shaky. Emma, the police have evidence that someone's been spoofing my phone number to send you threatening messages. They also have video of someone taking surveillance photos of your apartment. This is a felony. If you know who's doing this, you need to tell me now. A long pause. Ryan, I swear I don't know anything about fake messages. Then meet me tonight. Meridian Restaurant, 8 p.m. The same place where this all started. Let's clear the air once and for all. I don't think that's a good idea. Emma, if you don't know anything about this harassment campaign, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you do know something, this is your chance to come clean before the police figure it out on their own. Another pause. Okay, I'll be there. I hung up and looked at Detective Morrison. Think she'll show? I think she'll show with backup, and that's when we'll catch whoever's really behind this. At 7:45 p.m., I sat in the same restaurant where my marriage had publicly ended, wearing a wire and waiting to see who would walk through the door. Emma arrived first, looking nervous and exhausted. She'd lost weight, and her hair was shorter, probably trying to change her appearance after becoming the town's most famous adulteress. Derek arrived 5 minutes later, which wasn't surprising. Claire Morrison arrived 10 minutes after that, which was. I watched them huddle at a corner table, clearly planning their strategy before approaching me. Detective Morrison's voice crackled in my earpiece. We've got visual on all 3 suspects. Keep them talking. I walked over to their table and sat down uninvited, just like I had 3 months ago. Well, this is cozy. The whole gang's here. Emma looked up with tears in her eyes. Ryan, I'm sorry. This got out of hand. What got out of hand, Emma? The affair, the lies, or the part where you tried to frame me for stalking you? Claire spoke up. Ryan, you need to understand. Emma's been genuinely afraid of you. The way you humiliated her in public, the way you cut her off financially. She thought you might try to hurt her. So she decided to frame me for harassment. That was your solution, Claire? Derek leaned forward. Nobody tried to frame you for anything. Emma received threatening messages from your phone number. What was she supposed to think? She was supposed to think that someone was spoofing my number to make me look guilty, which is exactly what happened. I pulled out my phone and showed them Mike's video. This is you, Claire, taking surveillance photos of their apartment building. This is you meeting with someone to hand over fake evidence. This is you helping Emma file a false police report. Claire's face went white. That's not. I was just. You were just what? Helping your friend commit a felony? Emma found her voice. Claire, you said you were just going to take a few pictures to prove Ryan was watching us. I never took any pictures of Ryan, because Ryan was never there. Claire looked trapped. Emma, you asked me to help you make a case against him. You said he was dangerous. I never asked you to fake text messages. You said you needed evidence that he was threatening you. And there it was, the admission Detective Morrison was waiting for. Derek tried to salvage the situation. Look, this is all a misunderstanding. Nobody meant for this to go as far as it did. Really? Because filing a false police report seems pretty intentional to me. I stood up. Emma, you want to know what's really sad about this? I was finally moving on. I was dating someone new. I was happy. I wasn't thinking about you or Derek or any of this drama, but you couldn't let it go. You had to try to destroy me one more time. Ryan, please. I'm not finished. For 3 months, I've been the villain in your story. The boring husband who couldn't satisfy his wife. The vindictive ex who cut you off financially. The stalker who couldn't accept that his marriage was over. I looked around the restaurant, noticing that other diners were starting to pay attention. But the truth is, you're the villain, Emma. You cheated. You lied. You tried to frame me for a crime I didn't commit. You're not a victim. You're a criminal. Detective Morrison chose that moment to make her entrance, along with 2 uniformed officers. Emma Carter, Claire Morrison, you're both under arrest for filing a false police report and conspiracy to commit harassment. The restaurant went completely silent as handcuffs were applied and rights were read. Other diners held up phones to record the scene, just like they had 3 months ago when this all started. Derek wasn't arrested. Apparently being an accessory after the fact wasn't enough for charges, though Detective Morrison assured me they'd be looking into his role in the scheme. As Emma was led away in handcuffs, she looked back at me with something that might have been regret. Ryan, I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. Yes, you did, Emma. You meant for it to go exactly this far. You just didn't mean to get caught. The officers led them outside, where a crowd had gathered to watch the show. Mrs. Henderson from next door was there, along with half the neighborhood. The videos would be online within an hour. I sat back down at the table, ordered a drink, and called Sarah. It's over, I told her. Emma and Claire were just arrested for trying to frame me. The whole thing was fake. Are you okay? I'm better than okay. I'm free. And for the first time in months, that was actually true.